Hello everybody, Tyrone TG3 here. With the new Dragon Ball Z game, obviously means a large roster, at least a different roster, or an updated roster. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, we haven't thought of a second title yet. I don't want to say 4, but I'm guessing it's going to be 4. A lot of people are saying 4 right now. Anyway, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, the next project, is obviously going to have a plethora of characters. And much like I did with the Dragon Ball Fighters videos that I've done before, where I predicted the roster for that, or at least I did a pretty accurate job, I wanted to take this moment to try and predict the roster for Dragon Ball Z's Budokai Tenkaichi project that was just recently revealed back in March. So, with that being said, I made a list, and the only reason I made a list was because there was no way I was going to be able to say all these things off the top of my head. I'm still doing this off script, however, I do have the list in front of me, and I'll go into a little detail about each of the characters, reasons I think they should be in the game, what they would probably do in the game, but I am not going to ramble, so let's get straight into it. The first character we've got, obviously, is going to be taking place from the Battle of Gods series, and I want to make this very clear. So currently, I'll be making multiple of these videos, but in terms of characters I think should be added for the game, I'm going to go into two major sections. The first one will be in-series characters, basically characters we've already seen throughout Dragon Ball Super, and anything that we've seen in the canonical steps of Dragon Ball. So anything that within Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and I guess Dragon Ball GT. So with that being said, obviously the Battle of Gods saga, or Battle of Gods arc, whatever you want to call it, is first, and obviously that would be Beerus and Whis. Beerus and Whis would definitely be staples in. I think Beerus would be a really great character for Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi series. I can think of a lot of moves. He definitely seems like he would use energy volleys like he did in the movie. I actually do like the attack where he set up like the orbs, where he had the orbs and he was volleying them like soccer balls and stuff, and he can kick them towards the opponent. I think that would be a really good move. I believe that Hakai should be a counter move. I think that Hakai should activate where Beerus gets into a certain pose, and if you hit him while he's in that pose, it can do a lot of damage. It costs a lot of ki to use, so you can't just use it willy-nilly. But the cool part will be that, much like in the Fighters game, if it knocks you out, then you're completely disappear. Like, you're gone. Your whole body is out. I think that'd be a good attention to detail. And then the ultimate move will be the one where he launches the giant ball at Goku. I think that'd be a really good move as well to put into the game as well. Whis, obviously, Whis has a lot of fun moves that he can do. I think one of his Blast 1 moves, if they still want to use that terminology, one of his Blast 1 moves can definitely be like a light snack or a delicacy or something, where he like breaks out a bento box and eats and like recovers a little bit of his health. I think that would be cool. Interdimensional travel will be just like instant transmission, only probably be able to take Whis to a far away area where the opponent has to lock on, maybe. I don't know. Special moves would be pretty cool. I think that would be just a fun way to utilize Whis. He would mostly be a reaction character, so he would be the one that would have pretty much some good counters where he can like deflect the opponent, dodge the opponent. He'd be a good defensive character as well. Next up, this is for Goku and Vegeta. Yes, unfortunately, we will have to add another Goku and Vegeta, but don't worry, because I have a solution to kind of deal with the Goku and Vegeta situation. This will be Goku, but in parentheses, it just says God. This is essentially base form Goku, but he has the ability to turn Super Saiyan God Red and Super Saiyan God Blue, Ultra Instinct Unmastered, and Ultra Instinct Mastered, which I think that should be a pretty decent step for Goku, is just to have him have those transformations. And this is to separate it from the other Gokus so that we don't run through a bunch of transformations. Typically, I know N Goku is the Goku that was used in Budokai Tenkaichi that had the most transformations. You had his normal state, you had his Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. Then you also had his fusion with Gogeta and his fusion Potara with Vegeta. So that's like 6 forms that Goku can take. 2 of them required Vegeta to be on the team in order to do, right? Here, you've got Super Saiyan God Red, Super Saiyan God Blue, and then you've got the Ultra Instinct, and then Ultra Instinct Mastered. I think that Goku should be able to fuse with Vegeta. Goku should be able to fuse with Vegeta to make Vegito and Gogeta, but the twist is that they have the ability to go to their Super Saiyan God forms. So I think that's a nice trade-off. Next is obviously Vegeta God. That would be Vegeta being able to turn Super Saiyan God Red, Super Saiyan God Blue, And then finally his Ultra Ego form, if you want to count it. I don't know if they're going to put manga stuff in the game. I highly doubt it, only because, well, it's fishy. Manga stuff can make it into the games, like much like with the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series, but I thoroughly kind of believe that they may not put Ultra Ego Vegeta in just because they haven't revealed it in a TV show yet. I don't know. It's up in the air. That one's kind of fishy, but I do know he would have Super Saiyan Red, Super Saiyan God Red, Super Saiyan God Blue, and then he would also have his, I call it Super Saiyan Royal Blue. It's the form he takes that's essentially Super Vegeta if Super Vegeta had a blue form. That's all it is. It's literally just his hair gets more spiked out and his muscles get more pumped up. I call it Super Saiyan Royal Blue because the color gets darker, like a royal blue color instead of a light blue. So, and Vegeta's a prince. I think it's a good fit. Next off, we got that transitions into Resurrection F. We already have Frieza Soldiers 1 and 2. I think it'd be cool to have Frieza Soldiers 3 and 4. Just to complete Frieza's whole little army deal situation. The whole gimmick, obviously, is that during that arc, the characters would be fighting a lot of cloned Frieza Soldiers. That's fine. It's mostly like a survival match to see how long the characters can last. Next up will be Jocko the Patrolman. I think this is Jocko's time to finally be in it. Plus, this gives Akira Toriyama another series to put into it. He's already done the Dr. Slump series with the Rayleigh being put in to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and that's only because Goku had a crossover with a Rayleigh. Now Goku and the others have had a crossover with Jocko several times, so it feels fairly comfortable to put Jocko the Patrolman in this game now. I think he's a fun, comical character. I think he would be a good character to play and utilize. He'd have a lot of nice one-liners, I think. I think he'd be a very fun character to have. Next off, we have Shisami, one of the Frieza soldiers that Frieza had during Resurrection F. He didn't have much to do in the series, but he did have a little bit more to do in the movie. And then his partner, Tagoma, was in reverse. Tagoma died at the beginning of the movie and had more to do towards the middle of the movie. But then he got his body switched with Captain Ginyu, which is why Tagoma is going to be a little interesting here. Tagoma will have regular Tagoma, and then I believe his next one should be Ginyu form. So it'll be Tagoma, and then in parentheses, Ginyu. That'll basically be Tagoma, but Captain Ginyu is taking over his body. It'd be very easy. If you press the button in order to transform him, Tagoma will activate a cutscene where he looks down at a frog. The frog will write down change, and then once he reads change, the frog will change bodies with Tagoma, and then you got Tagoma as Captain Ginyu, which is perfect. I think when that happens, Tagoma should be able to use a lot of the battle poses in order to raise his own stats. I think that would be a nice touch, as well as have the ability to body change or use anything that Captain Ginyu has used. Milky Cannon, all those other attacks that Captain Ginyu uses throughout the game. I think that'd be a nice touch. Next off, we got Sorbet. Sorbet should be... I was debating on whether or not, but if they let Bobbity in this freaking game, I think Sorbet is fine. He can literally do a move called Sneak Attack, where it's like, maybe it's a counter, where it's almost like when when Kui uses the move Lord Frieza, and then your opponent looks behind you and goes, fool, and blasts you. So this one will be like, he probably like sees something off in the distance. When the opponent turns around, he shoots them with the ring laser and blasts through their stomach or something, or through their chest like he did with Goku. Next off, we got Frieza. This will be a different form of Frieza than the Frieza that we normally have. Normal Frieza would be first form, second form, third form, final form, 100% form, right? This Frieza's already at final form, but he knows a different moveset than the Frieza that already exists. This Frieza has the ability to go gold and Frieza black. It's either that, or we axe that all together. Then we get Frieza Form 1, Frieza Form 2, Frieza Form 3, Final Form, and then Frieza gets a choice here. He gets 3 choices, actually. He can either go Mecha, he can go 100%, or he can go Gold. I think that'll be that. As far as Frieza Black, again, we don't know if manga characters will be in it, so I'm not putting like my bank on that one. But in terms of Golden Frieza, I think that'd be a good choice. Next up is Zamasu, Goku Black Saga. There's obviously going to be regular Zamasu, fused Zamasu with Goku Black, and then there's corrupted Zamasu. That's the Zamasu that's fused with Goku Black, but he's split in half, and the other half is that gross purple half with the giant arm. I think that should go ahead and be in the game. Obviously, that Zamasu will be slower, but he'll hit a lot harder. Goku Black is in the game. Transformation, obviously, being the Super Saiyan Rose form. That's pretty much an obvious. Trunks, I don't think it's a good idea to make a whole nother freaking Trunks. We already have Kid Trunks. We already have Adult Trunks. I think that's fine. We don't need another freaking Trunks because it's bad enough. I have another Trunks on this list, but I don't think we need 4 freaking Trunkses. I think we need Trunks, Kid form. I think we need Trunks, Future form, and then obviously Trunks Teenager, which I'll get into later. But Future form Trunks, I believe, should just be able to have a costume change and match up to that. So one of the costumes Trunks have will be the one that he wore in Dragon Ball Super. Simple and plain as that. His hair is blue. He's got the red bandana. There doesn't need to be a need in order to make a whole nother Trunks for this one thing. I think that's dumb. Just make it an alternate costume. Call it a day. Same goes for Pan, actually. Pan, we already have Pan. I don't think we need Kid Pan and then slightly older Pan. I just don't think there's no reason for that. I think Pan's fine the way she is. I think if we need a Pan that's wearing the outfit that she wore from Dragon Ball Super Hero, then just make an alternate outfit change. We don't need a whole nother Pan. I'm sorry. Next off, we have the Champa. Well, yeah, we have the Champa stuff. So pretty much all of Universe 6 is pretty much in here with the exception of a few. I put Kaba, Kale, Caulifla, Frost, Automagetta, Botamo, Kefla obviously is the fusion, and then Hit. So yeah, those are obvious. Those should be in the game pretty much. I was debating on putting the Namekians, the 2 Namekians that Gohan and Piccolo fought. I don't think they need to be in the game. I'm sorry. I just don't think they need to be. I don't see any reason they should be in the game. But what we do have is the Tournament of Power. We've got Bergamo, Basil, and Lavender. Those are the 3 wolves. I think they definitely do need to be in the game. I think that's they're perfectly fine to be in the game. I see no problem with that, only because the Tournament of Power is definitely where the roster is going to be at its biggest, because the roster was big there. However, I feel like only a few characters from each universe should be in there, or sprinkled in there, at least to show off the Tournament of Power. So after that, from Universe 9, I believe Hop should be in there. That's the only character I feel from Universe 9 probably should make it. Obni, I think is his name, Obni. He's from Universe 10. He's basically the one that Gohan fought, the guy who has the ability to split himself into like 4 to give off the illusion that he's in multiple places when he's really just in one spot. I think he's good to be in the game. He gave Gohan a pretty good fight. I think he'd be alright to be in the game if you have to add somebody. Next off is Topo from his universe, from Topo, Jiren, and Dispo. Topo has the ability to turn into his God of Destruction form. That should be a given. Dispo doesn't have a transformation. I think he should just be in the game. Jiren, as much as I don't like Jiren as a character, I do believe he needs 2 forms. His regular form, and then I need him in the full powered form. His shirt is off. He's more muscular. He's got like that red little aura shit around him. I think that Jiren should definitely be in the game. Then the only other 2 characters from that universe I think should be in there is Coquette, which is the girl, the Pride Trooper. And then, what's his name? Casserole. His name is Casserole. It took me a minute. I had to remember. Casserole, I think, should also be in the game. I think only because we just need 2 more people that aren't Pride, that are also Pride Troopers to be in there. Champa and Vados as representatives of Universe 6. I think they should also be in there. Kakunsa, I think, should be in there. Another character from one of the universes. I think Rosie should be in there, another representative of Tournament of Power. Then there's the 3, I think these 3 girls should obviously be in there. Ribrianne, Harmira, and I think her name is it's hard to pronounce. Oh no, this isn't the girl. Rosie, Ribrianne, and Harmira are the 3 girls from that universe. Next up is Agnilasa. Basically, Agnalasa is that giant fused alien robot thing that Goku and the others fought. It looks a lot like Hatchak, which Hatchak should be in the game as well. Yeah, I think that would be the giant character that shows off in that one. I think that would be actually really good. Ribrianne, just rolling back to Ribrianne. I'm sorry, guys. I like Ribrianne. I think Ribrianne's a good character to actually be in the game. I think Ribrianne, both forms of Ribrianne should be in there too. I like the idea that when they transform, they actually turn into like these bigger, puffier alien type situations. So I do like that. Ganos, I believe, should definitely be in the game. That was the one that Master Roshi fought for a little while. And I tried my best to sprinkle a little bit of each universe in there from the Tournament of Power, just to make the Tournament of Power big enough to be justifiable to be in part of the story mode if it's decided to be implemented into the game. Next off, we've got the Broly stuff. Obviously, Broly from Dragon Ball Super, there's no other way around it. I thought you could make like a alternate skin of that. Like, oh, you can just make Broly a different skin. I think, unfortunately, while these two Brolys are the same, unfortunately, there's no way to glue them together that would make sense. Yeah, there's no way to really glue those two Brolys together in a way that would make sense. You just gotta have Z Broly and Super Broly. There's no other way around it. Oh, and rolling back to Kale, her forms would obviously be her base form, her Super Saiyan form, and then her... yeah, it would be her base form, her legendary Super Saiyan mastered form, and then her legendary Super Saiyan form, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, the one where she's super buff, and then the one where she's not. Caulifla would have base Super Saiyan 2, and then also Ultra Super Saiyan because she achieved that a while back. Cabba's is base Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan 2. Very obvious, very easy to do. Then I also believe Chi-Lai should be in the game. More female representation. Plus, I think she would be fun. I think, like, you know the one move she used? Well, not a move, but this is my move suggestion. In Dragon Ball, in the movie Dragon Ball Super Hero, when she, like, holds that bag and looks at Beerus a certain way, and, like, you can see, like, the show up in the cutesy stuff happens all around her. I think that's a really good move to use as a counter attack. Like, you're about to hit her, and she does that pose. And when you freeze, she can throw the bag at you and it has like a bunch of bombs in it or something. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. She'd be a good joke character. Gogeta God form. Piccolo. Piccolo never really had forms in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I think what they decided to do was just give him a little bit of every move. And oh no, he did have fuse with Kami. I'm sorry. Piccolo did have fuse with Kami. He had, I believe he had early Piccolo and then end Piccolo. Where now, I think what they can do is that they can probably just do Piccolo and then just give him different moves based on that. And then make one of his transformations, obviously, the powered up Piccolo form. And then the orange Piccolo form can obviously be a form right after that. Next off would be Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Obviously, they would be in the game. Really great characters. Gamma 1's move definitely needs to be the one where... No, Gamma 2, I'm sorry. His move definitely needs to be, his ultimate attack should be the one where he sacrifices himself, the same one he used against Cell. Speaking of which, Cell Max would be the giant character for that one. Next off would be Goten and Trunks. They're both in their teen forms this time around. Honestly, I think GT Trunks and GT Goten needed to be in there. But I think having Goten and Trunks both as teens is definitely fine. Unfortunately, we never got a perfected Gotenks, so we just gotta live with that. So unfortunately, the only Gotenks we get is Fat Gotenks, so that would unfortunately be a joke character. Next off is Dr. Hedo. I think Dr. Hedo could definitely be a good addition to the game. Dr. Hedo could definitely have a lot of like fun joking moves, as well as the fact that that suit he wears is a special suit that can like poison opponents and do other stuff, so I think that'd be great. These are Dragon Ball GT characters that weren't in Tenkaichi 3 that I feel like should be in Tenkaichi 3. These are basically going to be the Shinrons. I believe Nova Shinron and Sen Shinron were the only Shinrons in the game, which made no sense to me. I feel Ice Shinron, Oceania Shinron should also be in the game, making for the total of 4, only leaving out 3 Shinrons. But those 3 Shinrons were jokes. I don't think they need to be in the game at all. I don't care about Haze Shinron or the Mole or the Electric one. I don't think they need to be in the game. But I do feel Ice Shinron should be in the game. Ice Shinron's pretty much just like Nova Shinron, only with ice. Nova Shinron is definitely in the game for obvious reasons. Sin Shinron, Oceana Shinron, I think she's fine. Especially since she has two forms. She has a regular form and then like that demon form that she has. Obviously that's her true dragon form. So I think that would definitely be a good form to have in the game. Next off is General Rildo. I think General Rildo, his regular form should be in the game. The mecha form that he takes when he's fused with the others. And then finally that weird like clear metal gel-like form that he had when he fought Goku, when he took over the whole planet. Then these are the ones that are technically in the series, but they're manga characters. I haven't read the Dragon Ball Super manga. I just know these characters are so noticeable, I think they should probably be in the game. But these are definitely Flaky and maybe. Muro, Granola, Gas, Alec, Maki. Those are characters I believe. They may or may not make it depending on if manga content makes it into the game. Then last but not least, this is from Dragon Ball itself. It's Chi-Chi, but it's her teen form. The only reason I believe this is because I think Chi-Chi as a teen form is a really popular character. She was actually one of the most requested characters in Dragon Ball Fighters, but she didn't make it, unfortunately. But she was a very highly requested character. The only video game that Chi-Chi's been playable in that I can think of right now is Super Dragon Ball Z for the PlayStation 2. Other than that, I don't think she's been playable in any other real games in a while. And I think that Chi-Chi's pretty good. I mean, she held her own against Goku during that time. Yeah, she got one-shotted, but at the same time, she was able to hold her own and fight Goku. Goku was forced to block, and she made it into top 8 of the Budokai Tenkaichi, so that's pretty impressive. But with that being said, I think these are some solid characters that should be in the game. Tournament of Power is the most flakiest list I've made, but that's only because the Tournament of Power needs to be recognized, and the only real way it can do that is if you put a decent amount of characters in that game. I know Xenoverse 2 put in the Tournament of Power stage and put in some characters, mostly characters from Universe 6, but this is the one game now where Tenkaichi is the game that adds in a lot of characters. Characters you think would be obscure, but they're in it anyway. Emperor Pilaf's in the game, Babbidi's in the game. I said this before. So, with that being said, that's about part 1 of the list that I've made. And obviously, I'm going to try to go in and make a part 2. These will be characters that are out of series. And these will be just basically like suggestions for characters that were either in other content and media, like Dragon Ball Heroes, maybe Xenoverse itself, and also from Dragon Ball Fighters. So next time we meet, we'll go into that. And then I also want to try to talk about potential moves and mechanics that I want added into the game as well. So with that being said, if you want more Dragon Ball content currently this month, I am streaming the Budokai games currently on Twitch on very hard mode, so you can definitely go and check that out in the link right here. And with that said, you can also check me out on Twitter in order to check out that, and then you can go on this channel in order to check out more of my other content. I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone TG3 out. If you want to know where most of my time is spent, head on over to my Twitch channel to watch me stream games on Tuesdays through Thursdays, as well as Saturdays and Sundays. Also, be on the lookout on the PokePod, a podcast stream on my friend KG Prestige's channel, as we discuss the latest Pokemon anime episodes, as well as anime, manga, video games, and other fun topics. That's it. Go do those other things. This video's over.